From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, November 21st, 2015. Silver is trading at $14.19 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,078 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $328. Antiwar.com reports, after over a year of U.S. strikes against the Islamic State targets, officials have admitted to only a handful of civilian deaths, though reports from independent sources have suggested that hundreds have been killed. On Friday, the Pentagon Central Command admitted to another 4 civilians killed, including a child, in a strike against Hatra, Iraq. The strikes attacked a checkpoint of the Islamic State on the outskirts of the town, destroying 2 civilian vehicles that were waiting to cross the checkpoint and killing the passengers within. The Central Command insists that the attack was perfectly legal under international law. The attack was carried out by an A-10, basically a cargo plane full of guns with very little targeting capability. An A-10 was similarly behind the recent attack on a Doctors Without Borders hospital in Afghanistan, and the Pentagon Central Command is once again insisting they had no way of knowing civilians were present. Patrick Ryder, the Central Command spokesman, insisted, "If we knew there were civilians, we would not have conducted a strike." He also said the fact that the vehicles waited at the checkpoint led the Pentagon to conclude that they were the Islamic State and therefore lawful targets. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports homelessness in the United States is on the decline, according to data newly released by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, with the sharpest drop seen among veterans in the past 5 years. The report, released Thursday, announced an 11% decrease in the overall homeless population and 26% decrease in the unsheltered population since the launch of President Barack Obama's Opening Doors initiative in 2010. In the past 5 years, the population of homeless veterans on a single night has dropped 36%. Much of the progress is being attributed to investment made by the U.S. Congress as well as a joint program between HUD and the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Family homelessness has dropped 19% in the same 5-year window. Numbers of homeless individuals and families are estimated from data collected during an annual point-in-time poll taken on a single night. The HUD report also details a 22% decline in chronic homelessness as more than 83,000 people fell into that category this year. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's FANS.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Montana's governor granted clemency on Friday to a man convicted of murder as a teenager in the 1979 bludgeoning death of a female classmate in a case that ignited debate about severe punishment of teen offenders. Barry Beach, who was 17 at the time of the killing, was sentenced to 100 years in prison without the possibility of parole after admitting to investigators that he used a wrench and tire iron to beat to death Kimberly Neese, a 17-year-old pupil at Poplar High School, after she refused him sex. Using an executive order, Governor Steve Bullock commuted that to time served and 10 years probation under the supervision of the State Department of Corrections. Beach's sentence had drawn the attention of legal advocates, including Bullock, who argued that sentencing for youth offenders should take into account their age and possibility of reform. Those advocates won a victory in 2012 when the U.S. Supreme Court found that an Alabama law mandating life without parole for a juvenile convicted of murder violated a constitutional ban on cruel and unusual punishment. Bullock, who was Montana's Attorney General before being elected governor, wrote in his order granting clemency for Beach that a sentence of life without parole forecloses the possibility of rehabilitation. Since his conviction by a Montana jury in 1984, Beach has argued in legal filings that he is innocent and that his confession was coerced by police. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.